lots of people have had to apply for things like universal credit, and so people's finances have definitely been impacted.
I've come across a lot of young single mothers with more than the government's state allowed for benefits, so more than 2 children, so they don't get benefits after that. So there's quite a few young mothers on the estate. They've got 3 or 4 children, so they're in food poverty on a daily basis. And at times they'd say, "We didn't know what we was going to eat this weekend without you guys coming." So I don't know what those people were doing before we delivered to them, but it's just it's a bit heartbreaking coming across these people with such desperate need for food.
Well, initially you kind of heard on the TV, didn't you, that people were rushing to the supermarket. So I was like, I haven't got the income to, even if I wanted to hoard, for want of a better word. Then it was kind of having that conversation with yourself about, well, why do I want to hoard? What is hoarding about? And then it was kind of like, right, I need to kind of put my mind into thinking, how am I going to feed myself through this time, and how can I contribute to my community to be fed through this time? Because I was aware that there was very low income families on the estate, or people were vulnerable and having to shelter.
Well, I'm on the severely at risk register because of my health, and also I worry about my family, and my family, they're all asthmatic, so it is a concern. And my daughter's a nurse, so she's on the front line of it, and it is a real worry.
The benefits haven't gone up in linked with inflation for over 10 to 15 years now. We've been in austerity for 10 years, so we've just got more and more skin. So we want to help others, but we also understand the need that other people need, because we're also in the same need ourselves, from suffering food poverty at home, like you say, worrying about the bills, worrying about not having enough to eat. And so yeah, we understand the support we need, so it's easy to see what others may fall into that category.
We live in a 2-bedroom flat with 5 people.
So what's that been like in the lockdown?
Squished. And it's a bit boring as well because we don't have a garden to run around in.
Coronavirus really has pointed out the difference between people, social distance in the respect not of standing back, but how people are, how they are financially. There's an awful lot of food poverty, and it's not always the people that you think would suffer from it. There are people that are suffering food poverty that you don't know, and it's horrible. I don't like to think of anybody going hungry. So if we can try and help by doing a community allotment and a food co-op, which is what we want to set up, then yeah, I'm all in favour of that. Nobody should go hungry, not in 2020, not at any time.
When it came to food, how did you get the food for the food hub? How does it work?
We go through the Food Partnership, which were an established group that already existed, who were helping the food banks and had also set up a community fridge that was in existence at the centre. We turned to them with the help of TDC and the council, and they said they could supply us with food. I think they went off and fundraised in advance, and also bought stuff wholesale through money they raised. I know that they've gone from 400 to 4,000 households that they fed through COVID-19.
But I think emotionally there's going to be a lot of people who are very traumatised.
Definitely.
There's going to be kids who are going back to school who are going to be very behind. Lots of disadvantage happens. I think there's lots of people on the estate who are probably really disadvantaged in the first place, who maybe haven't been able to access all of the schoolwork that they've needed to do.
What about your friends' families? Have they had the same sort of time as you guys, or have they had a harder time, or do you think?
Well, my friend that I said I used to was visiting twice. She's in a foster care, but so then our school gave us like an email saying that you had to write in a form so you can go back to school, have a place in school. She's not, her foster carer doesn't want her to go, but she thinks it's too much of a risk, and if she does get it, she's going to be in a building mother as well.
And what does your friend think? Does she want to go back to school?
She's a bit scared.
Is she?
Yeah, she doesn't want to catch on anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost anarchy at the moment. I think people are really unclear. Some people now think it's 1 metre apart, not 2 metres apart. Information from the government is being incredibly inconsistent. There isn't the science to back us yet to come out of lockdown. We haven't followed the two systems that seem to have worked around the world, as either we shut your borders, like New Zealand, or you test everybody and you have an app. We don't seem to put anything into place.
Yes.
There just seems to be panic going on about, oh, the businesses must be allowed to open up. And it very much feels like profit before people.
There's going to be lots of people who struggle to get back into normality through fear, through their mental health, through all sorts. And I think the recovery side of this situation, of lockdown, is going to be a very long process. I don't feel like we're going to recover anytime soon.
The government are talking about flexi time now, which is literally, you know, people will be told that day whether they have work or not. So that whole sense of work insecurity, food insecurity for these people at the best of times must be really hard. But when you're told you can't come into work and you don't know how you're going to pay your rent or feed your children, I'm really pleased we were in a position to be able to say, well, come to us, we can help you with at least food. The other thing that's come out is probably loneliness. So again, it may not be about income, it may be just not having a community around them, or not having people they feel comfortable about communicating about how they feel. So we've had those conversations with people where they don't want to access food, but they kind of want to have a chat.
I think there's probably a lot of lonely people on the estate, and we are sometimes the only people they probably see, which is really upsetting, I think. But there are some people who haven't left their house in so many weeks.
We are a community in the best sense of the word, and the coronavirus has helped. I know it sounds mad, but people are kinder to one another. They're more inclined to stop and say, how are you? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do? Which is maybe a good thing that's come out of it. Might be just the one good thing, perhaps, I don't know.
And my neighbours, I mean, they know about my seizures, so they're always protective of me. I'm lucky, I've got great neighbours. We've all been here years. You know, it's a bit like the old days, if you like. It really is.
And I think one thing that I think people should definitely take out of this whole experience is the importance of the people around you, whether that be your friends, your family, your community, the people who are delivering you a food parcel, the people who are behind the scenes cleaning the centre so that we can do this. All of those kind of things are so important. And if nothing else, I think that is the only reason that our community is still kind of together.
So this lockdown, yeah, we are close together, but then we always were.